Hello, hello, hello. It's Dear Dana. It is Sunday night. I know I'm mixing it up a little bit, going Sunday night, Saturday night. Girl has to do what she has to do. But welcome, and I appreciate you. Come on in for a bit. There are things we need to talk about. Inhale to the count of 4. And an exhale. Inhale, inhale.
Issues in my head. I like you in my bed, but you keep me
blow it all
on
out.
Oh, everything is like a
Smell the
test. I better
flower.
not text or I'll come off
Blow out the
desperate.
candle. Smell the flower. Blow out the candle. Smell the flower. Blow out the candle. Check it all off. Smell the flower. Blow out the candle.
So if I play dead, will you regret
Welcome, Dear Dana, on a Sunday night.
I don't think you understand
Let's
what
talk
you're
about
doing.
some
And my heart's
things.
black and blue from the bruising.
Let's just talk about some things going on in the world. Let's make ourselves a little better, make ourselves feel better. This channel is about supporting yourself, self-care, social media. It's about feeling better. It's about psychology, mental health, hypnotherapy, all the things that make us human. Come on in. Come on in and let's talk it out. We got some things to talk about today, for sure, for sure, for sure. Some things that we're not noticing around us, that is 150%. Some things I am hearing through social media and online and on YouTube. Man, people are so afraid to go through hypnosis and hypnotherapy because they're afraid their brain will get controlled. But let me tell you something. Hey, Simply Sue, so very nice to meet you. Simply Sue, do you have your own channel? If so, if you have your own channel, let me know so I can tell people to go check it out. Always nice to meet good humans. People are so afraid to try hypnotherapy. Everybody, please go check out Simply Sue's YouTube channel. I do hypnotherapy. I do clinical hypnotherapy to help people with things like losing weight, anxiety, grief, depression, things like that. Oh, very nice to meet you in California and San Francisco. A lot of my clients are from California because I do hypnotherapy on Zoom. I'm in the Atlanta area myself. But anyway, like I said, a lot of people are apprehensive to do hypnotherapy. But it is so, my background's a psychotherapist, but hypnotherapy is so, so helpful. And it is like a nervous system massage, let me tell you. But that being said, people don't realize most of the time we're walking around in a trance. You grocery shopping, you're focusing on your groceries, you're in a trance. You're going down the interstate driving, and all of a sudden you're at your exit. You didn't even realize you were there that fast. You're under highway hypnosis. Okay? That is for sure. You're immersed in a project and you don't realize 3 hours have gone by, or you've been watching YouTube that long. You're under a state of trance. You're going through life. In some areas, you're under a state of trance. Hypnosis is a natural state of being. It's a natural state of being. And people don't realize that. They compare everything to stage hypnosis. That's what they're afraid of. But even with that, people are not going to do anything they wouldn't normally do in their real life. Hey there, Willow. Thank you for being here, my wonderful mod. People, I promise you, you would not do anything you wouldn't normally do in your real life. So that being said, Sue says, let me pop that back up so I can see it better. Aren't she lovely? A lot of people think it's going to be like on TV, make you cluck like a chicken. Even then, if a person wouldn't in their own personality do that, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. So, and that's stage hypnosis. When you're doing it therapeutically with somebody, it is incredible, incredible the results you get. I've done it live with people twice on here on the channel to show people there's nothing to be scared of. One was grief. The gentleman had been under deep grief for 2 years, and I did it. So anytime he was triggered in that deep grief response, that he would immediately have a memory of joy and it would flip. It would flip. So he wouldn't tumble down the deep grief area. And I thought it would take more than one session. And it worked that one session. Now, it doesn't mean if he loses somebody else, he won't experience it again. Maybe it won't be so deep. But I'm telling you, it is so, so helpful. Cognitive reasoning as well. Yes. And I do cognitive behavioral therapy. I do emotional freedom therapy, which is tapping. So people just get confused. Hey, Virginia Woolf. He's a gentleman, by the way, in case people get confused. Y'all, I have to say, for those that don't know, some of you know, in September, early October, the company my husband works for closed and he lost his job. He hasn't found another job yet. And he's got a good attitude. But just I hold stress in sometimes. And I'm a cup half full girl. But I think the internal stress of it, and I have MS, is messing with my sleep. I just got over being sick. And I'm sleeping like 4 hours at night. Plus the weather has flip-flopped. But I'll sleep 4 hours and wake up and can't go back to sleep. That is messing with me. I do not like that. At all. I don't like that I cannot go back to sleep. Used to, I could just sleep like a baby. Oh, I am sorry to hear that, Simply Sue. So we definitely connect. I try to explain to people that MS affects each person differently depending on where your lesions on your brain are. I don't think my mom quite gets that. You were diagnosed in 1990. See, I had been having episodes that would space out since my little boy was born. Back in, it was probably 99, after 99. But I was working in 3 different ERs doing psych. And they would happen and I'd be like, I'm too tired. It's this. It's that. And then I'd go to doctors and go, I think I have MS. But they were so spread out. They were like, I don't think so. So they look at different things and never have me diagnosed properly. And it wasn't until after my son passed away 6 years ago, I went to go to an eye doctor and they did an OCT scan from my eye to my brain. And they did the chart and put it on the wall. I'm sorry, you have MS. I'm going to send you to a neurologist. And that's when they finally officially diagnosed it. After I had been saying all these years to the doctors, I think I have MS. Because I'd have all these weird things happen over the years, episodes. Yeah, there are a lot worse things to have, Simply Sue. You're right. It's just the relapses and episodes. I have relapsing remitting. And my oh Dana, think. Oh, I can't think of what it's called. You know, when you're on JC virus, my JC virus load is so high, it limits me to the medications I can take. So I can only take 2. I only have an option of 2 right now. So I'm on Aubagio. Because my JC virus is so high, if I take anything else, it'll give me the infection and kill me. So, oh, I shouldn't use that word. Sorry, YouTube. I didn't mean to use that word. Shh. My bladder quit working is how I found out. I am so sorry, Simply Sue. I am deeply sorry about that. Sending you love and healing. That drug, half my hair fell out when I started taking that drug. Half of my hair fell out. They told me to wear my hair in a ponytail to sleep. And good thing they did, because the top hair stayed and the under hair fell out. So it was like really thin. The top hair laid down, so look, yeah, all kinds of weird symptoms. So it's like a cancer drug. Anyway, all kinds of weird symptoms. My latest symptom is a numb face, like a mask, and I'm always looking for my glasses because my nose feels heavy and numb. But I guess we could talk about that all day. Oh, your face went numb. You can find me Simply Sue on Instagram if you're there at Dear Dana 1111. Oh, thank you, Simply Sue. I appreciate that. I got this crazy ethnic hair. So how is everybody doing on this Sunday? I want to tell everybody, I heard something interesting talking about in the news. Dear Dana 1111. Yes, Simply Sue. Homestead Heart, I'm going to give her credit. I was watching her on YouTube. And, oh, by the way, everybody in the bushes, I see you and I appreciate you. Please remember to like and subscribe if you have not. A lot of the people that watch this channel have not subscribed yet, and it greatly helps me when you do. And some people that are subscribed, check your subscription, because sometimes YouTube knocks you out. Anyway, Homestead Heart recently went to Walmart and noticed there is an overabundance of canning supplies at Walmart. Like a way overabundance of canning supplies here in the winter. Way overabundance. Crazy. And she tried not to pay attention to it. And she also saw people, truckers loading in stuff, and there weren't many pallets. And they were saying that sales are down at Walmart, so they're not bringing in as many shipments. And I'm assuming sales are down because groceries are so high. Groceries are so high. So she thought the canning supplies, for one thing, were a fluke. So she drove to another Walmart 35 miles away. 35 miles away. Yeah, way too high. They're like double what they used to be for us. She went to another Walmart and their canning supplies were like 2.5 aisles worth. And she was like, whoa, what is going on here? So her first thought was, are people just not canning like they used to? But it's January. So she got asking around and thought, is there a supply? Is there something they're not telling us? Like, is there going to be a supply chain shortage again? Or is it because groceries are so high and Walmart sales are down that they're expecting people to begin growing their food more and begin canning again? Because groceries are so high. Virginia says, maybe the supply finally came back. But here's the thing. That would mean canned goods would be included in that. And we're having some issues with China. And I partly know that because teaching students over in China, they've cracked down even harder, not allowing teachers to teach any students, period. And I found out over in China, there is experimentation with more stronger VIR, USES, yes, I have to spell it, on human-like mice and rats. Thank you so much, Simply Sue. And this is the truth, because I've done some investigation on it. Why? I don't know. It may just be for science purposes. Yeah, I need to learn how to can, but I've never canned anything. So we also have the elections coming up. Yeah, I'm not going to get any more. I need to get a flu shot. I need to get a shingle shot. But we also have the elections coming up. Oh, so nice to meet you, Simply Sue. Enjoy your dinner. We also have the elections coming up. No telling how that's going to go. Houses, the housing market, and the interest rate sky high. Night Sue, be well, sending healing and love and blessings to you. Here's a place where your vibe attracts your tribe. Hey, Shelly Marie. So there's that. Housing market, the houses are up. That's good if you're selling your house. But the interest rates currently are still high. So we can't be in a trance to what's going on around us. So Stephen and I were talking about we definitely have to get on it to start growing things. Oh, honey, you need to kick off your shoes, Shelly Marie. Get you something to drink and eat and relax. So there's that. going on around us. We are so distracted. We're so distracted with what's going on around us, with work, with how high food is. Us regular Joes and Janes, you know what I mean? Just trying to keep it together with regular life, right? That we're in a sense of trance. I mean, right now I feel like a hamster in a wheel. I am not going to lie. Get up, take care of business, handle clients, connect with people I care about, do it again, and try to be in the moment. I do pray, meditate, do my conscious breathing, all of that stuff, or I could not survive, I assure you. And I am so appreciative of all of you, and I tell you, I do think of you all every single day. I was thinking of Shelly today. I promise you, I literally was thinking of her today, and within a couple of minutes, she sent me a note on Instagram. Hey, Corner Clubhouse Cobalt. I'm going to drop the link. But we're talking about survival stuff here. For sure, for sure. Oh, crap. They got virtual backgrounds going on. Virtual backgrounds. I probably can't do those because I got a real background. Oh, I can. Well, that is just interesting. Oh. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, I can put my rose bushes behind me. Who would have thunk? That is just wild. For best performance, we recommend using it. That's wild looking. Anyway, I wanted to drop this. Hello. So, what do y'all think about we need to start growing our food? Growing our food. Y'all like this background? I'm not used to having another background. I look like an AI now. Hey, Natasha Razor Glam. Okay, you can't chat. But the next time y'all go into Walmart, check out and see if they have a ton of Canon things, like an overabundance, and report back to me and see what you think. The other thing, in entertainment, Justin Timberlake just he's putting out a new album, but he put out a new single called Selfish. Well, Britney Spears, I think it was 11, 12 years ago or so, she also put out a single called Selfish. How ironic is that? Well, hey, Shinobi Mode. This channel is about everything that has to do with being a human. Mental health, my background, psychotherapy, hypnotherapy. It's about social media. It is about entertainment. It is about what is going on in the world. And, I say your vibe attracts your tribe. It's supportive and positive. Sometimes a little bit shady. But we are not mean or cruel here. So, just saying. But anyway, Britney Spears, 11, 12 years ago, put out a single called Selfish. Well, Justin Timberlake did that, which is a little bit shady. So, all of the fans did not like this. So they decided, oh, be safe, Natasha, my beautiful friend. Um, Britney Spears' friend, her fans didn't like it. So they started pumping out her song on iTunes and everything hard and playing it and pushed it back up in the charts, way ahead of Timberlake's. They sure did. They decided to get a little bit shady because they did not like what Timberlake was doing. They thought it was more than a coincidence, especially after her book. So, they think it was a passive aggressive thing that he did. And even though Brit needs some help, I kind of think it's funny. What say you about that? I know you don't care that much, or maybe you do. You know, I wish she'd quit dancing all over Instagram. When she sends out notes and stuff, she sounds like she's got her sense about her. When she keeps dancing on Instagram and doing that stuff, you know, she has the right to do what she wants to do, but not so much does she look like she's got all of her sense about her. But I am pulling for her. But insofar as putting out that song Selfish, what do you think? If you're watching the replays, put your thoughts below and let me know what you think. Also, let me know what you think about the whole supply chain thing and the canned goods. Moving on, I don't know if you know who Jay Leno is, but his wife is developing or has been developing Alzheimer's. They've been married for a long time, and he's filed for conservatorship of her. Now, the thing of it is, I didn't know. I come from a mental health background, and I didn't know if you were married to your spouse that is something you would need to do if you love and you're taking care of your spouse. That you would need to file conservatorship on your spouse to make decisions for them. Because typically, you're married to your spouse, they look to you normally just to make decisions for your spouse. So, everybody's going, oh, that's true love, etc., etc., and I know he loves her. So, my wheels started spinning, and I'm thinking, is he doing this because he thinks somebody else is going to step in and try to take over? What's the deal here? Anybody have any input on this? I'm sure some of you know who Jay Leno of The Tonight Show was. I mean, he retired a few years ago. Yo, I'm in sweatpants. I didn't dress up. I'm in a hoodie. I'm in a Children's Healthcare of Atlanta t-shirt. And I got on shorts underneath these sweatpants. I'm in layers. I have to tell you, no, that's going to be TMI. Willis says, Jay Leno is weird. Jay Leno's weird. Hello in the bushes. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. And if you're in the replay gang, please like, share, and subscribe. Virginia Woolf says, I think sometimes you have to move funds when people get sick. Yeah, I'm sure you do. But at first I thought it was nice, but then I thought, if you're married to someone, legally married, typically they do look to you to make decisions for your spouse. So then I'm like, why get conservatorship of your spouse? Moving on from that, we hear Cher was trying to get conservatorship of her son Elijah Blue because he's had mental health problems. He's had problems with taking drugs, and she didn't think he could handle his finances. I'm sure he gets a lot of money from I think his father has been gone for a while. I'm pretty sure. Um, his father was famous. So she was trying to do that. That has not occurred. So now I don't know if it's his wife or girlfriend is saying that Cher isn't competent to be the conservator of her son because she can't even dress herself or do X, Y, and Z. So the girlfriend or wife is trying to say that in court about Cher, but then you get to thinking Cher's very, very famous. Cher has had a million interviews. Cher just cut an album. Cher is on tour. Cher's so famous, people do things for her. So that's kind of laughable, you know? That's kind of laughable. So it's a he said, she said. It's, it turns into a hot mess. I can see how the word conservatorship is a sticky wicket of a topic now because of what has happened to Britney Spears, you know? But, I'm glad Britney got away from her dad. I do think she needs people with her. Maybe not her dad, but I do think she needs people with her. Again, if you're in the after replay gang, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Oh, they're having a panda discussion. I love pandas. I love me some pandas. They are cute, 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 cute. Here's the other discussion that, I had an aha moment because I had not thought about it. I had not really thought about it. Have you noticed? Have you noticed? Fewer and fewer movies are going to theater. Fewer and fewer movies are going to theater. More and more A-list actors are getting upset because they're not going to get box office money on the back end. More and more movies are being streamed on the television. What is that going to say about us getting quality actors or A-list actors in the movies? I never thought about that. Ever since we had the panorama, fewer and fewer movies are going to the theater. If you go in the theater now, there is no big wait. There's no big line. That's been my experience. You just walk in. Virginia's right. It is too expensive to bring to the theaters. But ever since we were all isolated to our homes, it has not been the same. So I'm wondering, are we going to see the end? Hey, Sarah McCluskey, are we going to see the end of theaters? Or possibly, are we going to go back to drive-in theaters? Or is it just going to remain at home? There's always been something to be said going on a date and going to the theater. Or having a theater experience. Instead of just watching it at home. Of course, look, you cannot hardly go to a theater. 2 people, get tickets, popcorn and drinks, and spend less than $50. Those days of going to the theater and it costing $20 for tickets and snacks is, unless you hide the snack in your purse, gone. Gone, 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 gone. You know what I mean? So you think about it. We get so distracted. Are we more distracted by our life? Or that's the question. Are we more distracted by our lives? Or do we use social media to get distracted so we don't actually know what's going on in the world and what the government's doing? Let's be honest here. Sarah McCluskey, I bet you still do not have the birthday present I sent you back in what, July? I bet you still have not opened that thing. Girl. I bet you still do not have that. I had to mail it to you 2 times, and I bet you still do not have that present. I'd be having that grandparent mail it to my house if I were you. I want to know if we are more distracted by our lives or social media. And I think social media almost sets things up to distract us so much that we are blind to what is going on with the government and the world. I'm not joking. So they can do so many things that we have no clue to what's going on till it slaps us in the face. Sarah, why don't you ask? Why don't you get your nanny to mail it to you, Sarah? Seriously, why don't you get your nanny to mail it to you? Can they do that? Virginia Woolf says, we choose to watch the news, etc. We don't have to. You're very right. But here's my question. News is not objective anymore. Once upon a time, the news people came on and they gave us the news straight. And when I said stay straight, they gave us the news without their opinion. That does not happen anymore. Now newscasters give us slant news. All of them, left and right. They give us the news slanted according to their own opinion. No joke. It's slanted according to their own opinion. So do I trust what I hear on the news? Heck no. I trust more what I see on YouTube than I see on the regular news. But I feed through it and pick it apart to try to make sense of it all. JC Bear, I am so happy to see you, dude. Happy to see me some JC Bear. I have not seen you forever and a day. So much love. We were talking about pandas earlier. You are my human Winnie the Pooh. Love me some JC Bear. Love me some JC Bear. Oh, I'm so sorry about your nanny and papa. Sending love and healing their way. I bet you've been so busy. I'm glad it's been good, JC Bear. You've got a fan club, JC Bear, and a lot of people that love you. a lot of people that love you. Mwah! And hug, hug, hug. But I've gotten where I try to, if I can, when I go into meditation. Woo! That scared the heck out of me.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, JC Bear.
I knew you dropped the link because you knew I was going to come up on it.
I wasn't sure, actually.
Oh, yeah. I had a lovely, relaxing day, and it's kind of like I'm in a good mood, a little bit of a sassy mood, so it's like, why not? And then you were here, and I'm like, heck yeah, come on. I might as well go up, drive you all crazy. So I only caught part of what you were talking about. There's Virginia Wolf. He's tired because he's been playing Chase Me all weekend.
Yeah.
So what you been talking about? I only heard bits and pieces.
We talked about, I heard from Homestead Heart. She went into Walmart and there's a vast overflow of canning jars in Walmart. She thought it was a fluke. So she went to another Walmart 35 miles away and it was like aisles of it. And she talked to a guy that, drives the stock in.
Mm-hmm.
And he said sales were down. And no, it wasn't a fluke that all the canning jars were coming in. And it's actually too early for them to come in.
Yeah. You're talking about mason jars where you
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah, that's usually in late summer.
Right. Because at first she thought, well, maybe people just weren't canning like they used to. But then the wheels started spinning. And she goes, is there a supply chain shortage? And he said, they weren't selling as much in the store as a whole as they usually do. But she was thinking maybe it was on the clothes and everything side. And she knows food is higher. So she couldn't figure out whether it's a supply chain thing going to happen or maybe people, because food is so high, were, that they were expecting people were going to start growing their own food.
Well, the thing is with canning, I mean, you can only grow so much in your own private vegetable garden in your backyard.
Right.
Whether you're in the city. So growing up, what my dad and ma used to do is that they'd haul us into the back seat of the station wagon, and it was our Sunday trip up to where the local farms were. And wherever the local farms were, we'd be buying bushels of stuff. This is like in late August, and so forth, and bring that back, and we'd use that for tinning peppers and tomato sauce and all of that stuff, eggplants and everything. But in the spring, or the upcoming spring, I don't know, maybe it's because I live in a cold climate, there'd be nothing. It'd be way too expensive to buy any types of fruits or vegetables up here to can in any type of mass amounts, like for the winter or for your pantry. So I don't know, maybe it's a southern thing. Do you guys have any produce that's coming in at this point, or is everything kind of like...
We don't have a high amount of produce right now. I mean, usually spring, summer, and then fall will have, you can plant your greens type thing.
Yeah. Unless it's just for the amounts, but normally I would have expected that. I think it's probably a supply chain.
So it's kind of like she's saying, open your eyes, start looking around because things aren't being told to us.
Oh, God, yeah. They have I truly believe that there's a lot of distraction media for us. I mean, if you were to go back to when we were growing up, sorry for anybody who's watching this who is under 30.
Yeah.
But if you were to go back and take a look at the news reporting back in the day, It wasn't. There was always a small segment at the end for editorials,
Yeah.
but the entire item now, even up here, a lot of it is agenda driven and based on who owns your corporation or who owns your news media. It's their belief system and their agenda that gets pushed. The only way you can kind of glean the truth is you watch one that's right wing and one that's left wing and kind of like pick out what you believe are true facts. Or just look at your local, like when you go out, just take around and take a look. How are people buying stuff? Are people really, you know, uh, how are they suffering? Like, there's a lot of stuff that says, oh, our economies are doing this, our economies are doing that. But are they actually listening to people who are in the cities and living day to day? Like, not everybody has, and Canadian politicians are just as bad. This isn't unique to the U.S., so please don't think I'm U.S. bashing.
No, I'm not.
They have a great salary. They get deductions, they get allowances, they get a lot of stuff that regular working people do not. So for them to have this perception that, oh, no one's hurting or things are getting better, I think they're just out of touch.
Yeah.
Or they're
Absolutely.
purposely keeping the blinders on,
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to, like, I seen some things about when we were talking about movie theaters, and I'm like, I have to really like a movie now. Or have really be interested in, like, that brand or its premise or something. Because you're going out and if you're sitting in a VIP seat, that's $25 to start. If I was to take my two nieces, even though they're a younger age, you're not getting away with by the time you add in like popcorn and treats and drinks and all that for anything under than $125.
That's insanity.
Because everything is a $6 pop for a regular one. Popcorn is this if you like the treat, and that's not even touching on the food that you can get. Now, $125 for most families is a sizable chunk of their grocery budget. So what are you going to
Yeah.
do? Like literally, you're taking a good chunk, which $125 I think will get you 2 bags of groceries nowadays. By the time you get, if you're buying tin goods, if you're buying fresh veggies. Oh, hello, baseball cards, Grogu.
Hey, Grogu of baseball cards.
So, this is where I think politicians on both sides are just not paying attention to what's happening in the real world.
Yeah, and then when
families.
when the politicians that make so much money are saying, oh, things are getting better or there's more jobs or whatever, they are clueless because like we used to buy groceries weekly. Well, of course, Stephen doesn't have a job right now, but even now, with our budgeted money, even when he had a job, we stopped and went to buying groceries every 3 weeks and bought in bulk or bought big every 3 weeks because that prevented me from overbuying, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And so they don't realize now, even for what was considered middle class is going away.
Oh yeah, it's eroding.
And so it's difficult now for people to even buy food.
Oh, yeah.
People are buying what is absolutely necessary.
Oh yeah, I mean, even my own, like, I do love my food, but even for solo, I am like buying beef. Oh my God, beef is now I consider buying like a steak or anything like that. That's a treat now.
Yeah.
Growing up, that was never a treat. That was in our home because we bought in bulk and we had a freezer and all that. There was steaks, there was veal, there was hamburger, there was chicken, there was everything under the sun.
Right.
Nowadays, when I go out, do I want to spend $19 on a steak That's just one. And that's just like a 10-ounce T-bone or a 10-ounce sirloin. And I'm like, oh my God, this was never this expensive before. And so even my own grocery habits have changed. I stock up my little refrigerator freezer with frozen veggies, frozen this, frozen that, so that way I'm not going out every week.
And I do have to tell people the frozen vegetables are just as good as the fresh ones, and they're cheaper.
Yep, and they can be used in stews and soups and taken out and just simply lightly sautéed. It all works, but I can't imagine like an average family of 4 or 3. Like literally, I can imagine their food bills being at least $200. Like if they have 2 kids.
Yeah. Oh, honey, it's worse. It is worse.
And that's just on the basics like milk, eggs, um, even now when I go out and I look at the fruit section, I find, you know how I used to grab just one big old bunch of bananas, right?
Yeah.
Well, now I notice that people have reduced them, so you'll see ones that if it was a big batch of, let's say, 7, there'll be 2 on the side because they'll buy ones that they'll automatically have like just 1 a day, so that way it doesn't go to waste. Now, bananas may be a bad thing because you can always make banana bread if you know, like when they get too soft.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you look at something and you go, okay, I can buy a basket of this, but if I can't finish it, it's going to go to waste. I've just blown this amount of money down the drain. Which, in the past, yes, I have been guilty of it. Didn't even think twice. Like, oh, well, 3 peaches went bad. Now I'm like, okay, I'm only going to buy, 4 pairs, this, because you now have to budget, because now everything's gone by weight.
Yep. And those meal kits you used to see? Well, I don't know if I've seen them that much anymore, but you almost wonder if those are more economical than actually buying groceries. Because those meal kit things, those companies can buy the food by bulk.
Yep.
Like big bulk.
Well, the other thing, and this is the other thing that a lot of times you have to look for, is shrinkflation. So I'll give you an example. I used to buy a package of let's say, vegetables that were 456 grams, which would be equivalent to a pound in the U.S. All of a sudden, I've noticed that it was the same price, but now it was only 400 grams. So
Yeah.
they take a little bit out of each package to make an additional 1 package to sell, but they're still charging you the same price.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
So even though your bill may not go up, the amount of food that you can actually serve suddenly gets shorter by a day.
Yeah.
So, and I've noticed that in a lot of things. It's like, hey, wait a minute here. How come this used to be an equivalent, and now it's like, now this is less, but I'm paying the same amount? But unless you pay attention, you're just grabbing the bag and putting it into your cart. So yeah, there's a lot of things like that.
Like potato chips.
Yeah. Oh, potato chips. Well, half air.
Yeah.
But in the media, and that's become sometimes, when you look at some world events that occur, you have to kind of wonder, with everything that was going on in the world, this is my own little conspiracy theory, this is just my opinion. For example, for the longest time, it was always the war in Russia and Ukraine. There's always the tensions over Taiwan in China. Then all of a sudden we have the war in the Middle East that's going on between Israel and Gaza. I'm not getting into the politics of it, people.
Yeah, I know.
But isn't it interesting that all of a sudden the shift and the attention is now shifting over to this? But these other items that have been dominating the news cycle are now, maybe a 30 to 60 second blurb.
Yeah.
So exactly what do they want us to actually pay attention to, and who and why are they stoking certain? Um, I'm trying to say this in a nice way. Stereotypical hatreds in the world to keep people from actually realizing that there's different ways to resolve this stuff, but they keep stoking it. I blame academia in one part. I blame social media in another part for doing this. Again, this is just my own opinion. Um, I'm not swaying anybody. There are some horrific things that are happening all over, and I recognize that. But you have to wonder how come all of a sudden this comes up,
Right.
and you have to look at the world politics around it. And even now, I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen the U.S. political cycle already revving up so fast. As soon as it turned January,
Yeah.
everything started to rev up on the politics of in the U.S. and everything gearing towards November. Something like that is going to wear on people. I don't know how American citizens handle it, because for us, our election cycle really is maybe 6 to 8 weeks total.
Well, with this, just in my opinion only, I am the type of person when the political thing happens, I do not count myself Democrat or Republican.
So you're one of those independents.
Yeah. I would look for the person that makes the most sense to do the next right thing for all of the people that looks like they have the most sense. You get my drift?
Yep.
That's going to do either the best thing or cause the least harm.
Yeah. Nowadays, that's what you have to choose. You have to choose it that way. What's going to be either best for your family situation, and for, in your case, your state, my case, my province, and then best for the country, or the reverse. It all
Yeah,
depends on what your priorities are.
because once the like for presidential candidates, once you only have two choices, you get my drift.
Yeah.
So anyway, be that as it may, um, with our current president, and this is not a dig as far as left or right, from the time he got in, I feel strongly he has had some form of dementia. This is a mental health thing I'm talking about. And I don't feel like he's been running the country. I feel like someone has been doing it for him. Just saying.
Well, it's the same thing in any political item. Like, I mean, when you look at the past, some prime ministers and presidents have had some pretty interesting things going on at the same time versus what's been presented in the media.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
but it's been too obvious. It's been too obvious. It's not just a haphazard opinion I've had. But
yeah,
I,
you usually don't come to those conclusions just based off one or two items.
no, I'm not going to say something loosely. Um, but I mean, it's sad.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it because oh I don't like him. I say it from a professional place. I said it in the beginning, and it's just proven itself over and over again. Who is running things? I don't know. I really don't know. So, in the upcoming election, it's going to be interesting. I
but
wish fresh blood would come.
but I mean, it's just the. I'm always amazed at the length when it starts for U.S. president, like like the major U.S. presidential election. Like literally, it's going to be all year.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be all year, a lot because of the current president has those issues. And because there's so many people trying to get Trump back in.
Well, this is the thing, and even the parties up here had some issues with their messaging. It's when you're not listening to your constituents and you're pushing the higher party agenda and line, and you're not coming back knowing that's not happening either in my district or in my state. This is what's actually happening. I think that's when you get this counter vote.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing up here. There are some, when you're not listening to what people actually want, and I'm talking about parents, I'm talking about left wing, right wing, doesn't matter where you are. If you're not listening to what's actually on the minds and concerns of your constituents, how can you actually, basically tote the party line so then you actually know you're more loyal to your party than the people who elected you?
Right.
And it's not always the loudest voice that is going to carry you into your next re-election cycle. It's usually
Right.
the much quieter voices in the back. And that's where I think there's a lot of political parties that are failing because of it.
They get let us, sometimes even the ones that mean well, because there's so much. You could take a good candidate and put him in there, and then get the heat of the people that are running, that are in the political realm, to pull him left and right and put pressure and all that other stuff, and they go down the wrong trail.
Or they have to be patient enough and, at least on their first election term, to be a backbencher, whereby they may not get their voices heard. I don't know how it works in your Congress for when congressmen or congressmen, congresswomen, whoever's your elected official, if each of them get a chance to speak when they're talking about an issue, or whether they remain silent, or they have to, I don't know how it works in the U.S. Congress. So I'm trusting on either you or the people in your chat to shed some light on whether anybody can speak when there's a bill or something coming up, or whether they just have certain spokespeople via the party speak up.
I'm not sure how all of it goes, to be honest. I mean, it's complicated.
Yeah, it becomes more complicated, and I always remember way back when I was younger, and meeting Americans when we were up at the cottage and all that, and they used to always laugh. They used to go, "Well, at least we can elect our president directly," and I'm like, "Oh, well, with us, it all depends on what party gets the majority, and the leader of the party becomes prime minister." And I was surprised because I had never heard of the Electoral College
Yeah.
so much later, and I'm like, "Hey, wait a minute." Wait a minute here. If ours is by the majority of parliamentary seats, isn't that like the Electoral College?
See, I'd rather it just be who gets the most votes.
That's what I always thought growing up. Schoolhouse Rocks and stuff like that. So,
But no, they have to make the electoral college like each state has so much electoral votes. So it
yeah,
doesn't matter if you get the most votes in the total. It's who gets the most electoral college. I hate that.
well, you see, the only way I could think as an outsider, so don't kill me, U.S. people. The only way I think that it could be fair, I think one or two states allows them to allocate it based on the percentage of votes or percentage of population. So instead of all the electoral college votes going to one candidate, so let's say in the bigger states like Texas, California, if you have something like a 55-45 split, then the electoral college votes for them should be split along those voting lines.
But you
That
know
way
what?
you get a truer majority.
Sometimes it can be days later before even all the votes come in, and they've already decided. It's a hot
True,
minute.
but if you get to allocate them instead of all or none, but as a percentage,
Yeah.
then I think that you would get a truer electoral, a truer election, because electoral college votes would then represent would then represent everything from each state. So even if you only have two electoral votes, you can, depending on how the vote breaks, they could make it one each, and it represents the population of your state.
We need a woman.
Okay, dear Dana, I'm going to interview you. Why do you think a female president would be the best solution?
If we had a really smart woman with a good head on her shoulders that was real stubborn and wouldn't back down to a man, she would probably be more less resistant to go to war straight away, for one thing, especially if she was a mother.
Okay.
And she probably wouldn't put up with a lot of bullheaded, egoistic man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I wouldn't want a Hillary Clinton type.
Is there anybody that you've seen, even in your local area, that you would consider a strong female leader?
No.
Okay. What about in the chat? Is there anybody like in your local um, area that you think has the potential to either be a good, strong female leader for your city or your state, or eventually on the national stage?
Coretta Scott King would have been a good president, I think,
Hmm. Internationally or domestically or both?
domestically. I think domestically she would have been a good president.
True, Virginia Woolf, and it's so expensive to run. Like literally, the amount of
Hey,
money,
speak with your girl Marcella.
literally, the amount of money it takes to actually run for political office is outstanding. Is like, I look and I go, oh my God.
But I cannot stand me some Hillary Clinton. And she was connected to that Jeffrey, what's his name?
Epstein.
Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, 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 no ma'am. Mm-mm.
I think there's a lot of people that are on those types of revealing lists that some expected, some not expected.
I would want a female president that has taken a lie detector first and foremost and a huge background check. I would want to know my president. Now, look, there's not going to be a perfect one, and
No,
they're going to have to keep a lot of secrets for that matter. But I would want one that has a lot of integrity. A lot of integrity.
oh yeah, I mean, like up here for a while, it's like RPM spoke about an issue that he really should not have spoken about on record in Parliament, and it caused a huge kerfuffle between Canada and India. And I'm like, you couldn't keep your mouth shut. You had to speak out on it, and it's only now slowly getting resolved and back to normal. But I look and I go, oh God, that was the most major faux pas that you could have done. Because you put it out there, it's on parliamentary records, it's there, you've insulted a nation, now it's back and forth. Oh, it was a mess for a little bit. But Yeah, you're never going to get the perfect. You may get the media showing you the perfect candidate, but then there's reality behind the scenes where you know that it is not the perfect candidate.
Marcella says, who is that Arizona congresswoman who stood up against Trump? They voted her out.
Out of the Republican Party or out of her state congressional seat? I'm not sure. I'm from north of the border. I only know some of the big ones.
Was it Liz Harris? No. Or was it Liz Harris?
I think, was it Liz Harris? Speak with your girl, Marcella?
Or Sinema? Kristen Sinema?
I don't know.
I don't know. Liz Harris or Kristen Sinema? I'm not sure.
But this thing, the people, like, I mean, you know, her father was a senator in the federal Senate. I think I know who you mean, McCain. I think you mean McCain, but I don't think she was from Arizona.
Kristen McCain?
Because remember John McCain?
Whoever is a woman president needs to have a spine, integrity, and empathy, and be able to stand up against any man.
That may mean also, because if I understand it correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong, people, because I didn't grow up in the U.S.
Miss Cheney.
Oh. Yeah, she's not. I think she's been ostracized from the Republican Party, if I remember.
You know what? This is one thing, though. They think, no offense, guys, but the government here in America thinks that presidency is a man's world. And they have the attitude that the world would burn in hell before a woman sits in that seat. But I have news for them. I just feel like as long as a woman is not power hungry and have a huge ego and she's there for the right reason, that it could be good. You know?
True, but she would, and this is probably just a male view. She would have to come to terms at one point of engaging in armed conflict.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that they would never engage in it, but I feel like that they would ponder it for a hot minute before they would immediately go there.
So you mean for more than a hot minute?
Yeah. But like you said, there are other alternatives to conflict rather than immediately engaging in warfare.
So Virginia Woolf says, none of these politicians are as decent as we are. Sad but true. There is a corruption that seems to happen as soon as you enter the political realm. It seems inevitable.
Yeah.
It all depends on, yeah, I can see that if you want to climb the political ranks to get into one of the, what we would call cabinet positions or ministers, you have to be politically savvy, which means sometimes you have to be politically backstabbing.
Yeah. And, I thought about that. That I think the really, really decent people are afraid to enter in politics for that reason.
Mm.
For that very reason.
But I think it also starts at your grassroots level,
Yeah.
because in your more local communities, they're not escaping to the state capitol or to Washington. They're there in the same community as you, so they got to face a whole group of yous every day for the decisions that they make. So they
Yeah.
can't just be 3,000 miles away or 200 miles away up in the state capitals or so forth.
Right. If you're in a small county or something like that, making changes for the locals, yeah, you can stay more to your integrity.
Well, you're also held far more accountable, because
Right.
those people are the ones that you're going to see in your grocery store. You're going to run into them at the gas station. You're going to run into them at church if you attend. You're going to see them at the PTA meetings if they have kids. So they have to be more accountable, because they know when they go out,
Also, people that stand up to big politics have been unalived over and over throughout the years. That's true.
yeah,
I don't like that thought.
no, but unfortunately, it has occurred through
Yeah.
political agendas, exactly what they want to achieve. So, and then there's the big brouhaha, a supposed commission to investigate what actually went down, and then we're fed the correct results according to whoever is in charge.
Right. And you know what? I think the government hired the Kardashians
To distract.
to distract the whole world.
Well, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how a basic product of nothingness.
I'm joking. Just in
I'm
case
not.
you're serious.
I mean, the amount of social media, and but I mean, some of them have done well for themselves by going into various businesses. Some have done it by doing marrying in and out and doing sex tapes. Uh, so, I mean, I just kind of look, and that's what I tried to instill in my nieces. Like, don't always look at what's being presented to you face value.
But seriously, folks, this they have lasted over a decade on television doing what? Really?
Talking about their butts, talking about their boyfriends, talking about, how difficult it is to apply mascara in a Maserati.
Getting plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Losing
I've never
weight,
watched them
gaining weight.
myself.
I watched them a few times early on, but I got really bored really quick. And I'm thinking, they're all in their 40s now and babies, and I think it's the end of a
Phase.
phase now because they're not appealing to the teeny bops. I can't see how they're appealing to the 20 somethings very much anymore. And I think it's the end of an era. Yeah, people are going to look at them, et cetera, et cetera. But Eden, do you really care about the Kardashians? My very young 20 something daughter doesn't give a
Yeah, and
about the Kardashians.
I think my nieces are considered Gen Alpha, whatever
Yeah.
that's supposed to be. I don't think they've even heard of them.
So there you are, folks. Sorry, Kim, Courtney. What are the rest of them?
Kim, Courtney.
Yeah, I know their names, but I'm tired. Kim, Courtney. Oh Lord, Danny, you are having a glitch, or I just don't care anymore.
I think Courtney was the one that put the flower that went up to the soldier in the commercial with the Pepsi, and everything was resolved. I don't know. They do.
Oh, dang it. She
They have good
it's
marketing.
it's the one that's gonna feel like she's the least loved
There's Kim
daughter again.
Kardashian, Courtney Kardashian. Oh, hang on, I gotta Google.
See, I did it to you too. uh,
Hang on a
uh,
minute.
uh. No, Danica, you remember Kim, Courtney,
Kim, Courtney, Chloe,
Chloe. I'm so sorry, Chloe. You are
and then
not the
there's
least
Rob.
loved.
There's poor Rob.
And Rob, we haven't seen him in a long time. He's got the little daughter Dream. They all have broods of kids. And Kim was supposed to have become a lawyer by taking the mini bar. I don't ever hear anything about her being a lawyer now. But be that as it may, I think it's, I know their momager will still get some deals and they'll do makeup and all that stuff. And we'll see ads and everything. But really, 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 I think it's an end of an era for them. I like Chloe the best, actually. Well, I like Courtney, but I really think it's the end of an era for the Kardashians as far as their high popularity.
Well, yeah, I think Taylor Swift's kind of knocked him out.
Oh, honey.
Hey,
Taylor Swift,
Paranormal Witch.
she's a genius.
She's good at marketing.
Taylor Swift is a genius. I mean, the kid's been writing music since she was 12.
Yeah, and it's always about failed relationships.
Well, she wrote for other stars, for country
Cool.
stars at age 12. That's how she started.
It'll be interesting to see which gets more ratings. Taylor Swift on the NFL or the NFL game.
I actually think this is a good match for her.
Hopefully.
He's grounded. She's grounded, actually. They both appreciate family. He's out of the box for her. He's bigger than her. He's not a girly guy. I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, before she was Amazon over the guys she dated. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you need basically when you have strong female energy, you need strong male energy.
Yes. She needed more of a hulky guy that could kind of take over. The guys she dated before, she was bigger than them. She had the really strong energy. She made more money. Come on now. This guy wants kids. She wants kids. I think she is at an era in her life where she's done it all.
But yeah, she's not hurting for money. She's quite comfortable. If she wants to start a family, then that's when she has to decide. Okay, if I want to, I don't know if if her family, if she comes from a divorced family or I don't know much about her family background, but she has to decide exactly what type of family she wants and whether she wants it to be a two-parent family, what values that they want to instill in their kids.
I think their parents are still together. I think, but I think she's at the age it's time to have children.
Yeah, if she's ready for that and so forth, and hopefully they'll do the smart thing and keep the kids out of the public eye. It's different to have like, okay, here's a flash shot of my little one, but you're not going to see him or her again till much later in life, and keep them out of the public eye, because that's the worst thing. Because these kids, they just know them as mom and dad. They
Yeah.
don't know them as Taylor Swift or famous NFL player or so forth. So, and also kids can really keep you grounded.
And before the guys I think she dated were not as open about their emotions. And this Kelsey guy is like, oh, I mean, he's real open about it. Not afraid.
True, but in anything there's, see, that's when you get into relationships. It's like, exactly how emotional or vulnerable do you want to show your partner?
She
And
needs
for
that.
guys, it's a fine line.
But she needs that. I think she's the type that shows emotion, right? And she usually needs that from somebody. And I feel like eventually guys sort of rail out. But this Kelsey guy is like,
Well, this is what I think about current relationships, where they've really gone off into some weird track. Like, okay, this may be old school, and you may just be shaking your head at me, but I remember my parents growing up, and when my dad was emotionally vulnerable, you never seen my mom like a mama bear with everybody around him, including us kids. Now, I only remember it when, like, his mom, like when my grandmother passed, my nonna passed, and all that. My dad was very emotionally raw, and so forth. My mom was like a damn mama bear around him, and very protective. It didn't matter. It's like the kids. It didn't matter whoever. It's like, good luck getting by her. And same thing, when my mom was emotionally vulnerable, my dad was like, no, this is what you're going to do. And this is what your mother needs, some time alone or some private time. And he took care of business. I don't think you get that type of back and forth in the current modern relationships, because they don't want to put in the time to get to that stage
yeah,
with each other. And I'm not passing judgment on any of the current couples that are involved here. I'm just saying, from what I see from more recent couples around, if you've been together with somebody longer than, you know, 5 years,
hmm
you should be at that stage where you can share certain things, and the other person will step up their game because they know where you're coming from. So that way you don't always have this, oh, I'm the head of the household thing.
yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's a two-way thing where, no, you're better at this, and you're doing this, and you're taking the lead. But when you're tired, then I'm taking the reins and I'm taking the lead, because you're both working towards the same goal or the same end game type of thing.
That's kind of how it is here.
Oh, I figured that would be. I figured that with you. Yeah, I could totally see your relationship like that.
Really?
Totally see it. With Virginia Woolf, he likes to just play the chase me around the kitchen table. Don't you, Virginia Woolf? Oh, don't pretend you're not listening.
Steven's the type of, like, if something's bothering me, something's hurting, I don't feel good, I'm quiet. And he'll be like, you don't feel good? How do you feel today? Something hurting? You don't feel good? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm like,
but the thing is, do you tell him, or do you just say I'm fine?
um, initially I might say I'm fine, but he won't let that go.
Because he knows, like, it's like, usually women will say I'm fine.
Yeah,
I know that, Virginia Woolf. That's why I love teasing you.
but I'll be outside, like I have a computer on my screen porch, computer in here, a computer in the, because I'm always working on something. And especially, with the hypnotherapy stuff, I have to take clinical notes. And look, I'm always, and if I'm outside and it's chilly, I'll be working. He'll come up behind me and put a blanket over my shoulders.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
that's,
he's in sync with you.
yeah, that's the kind of marriage we have.
But that takes work.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people have to realize, that it takes work knowing somebody's emotional up and downs, and knowing how they tick,
Yeah.
And you're not going to get that in 6 weeks.
No.
You're going to get that over, over a couple of years, I'd say at least 6 months to a year, you should be able to start understanding their ebbs and flows. That's what come. It's like never commit to somebody until you've dated them for at least 6 months, because anybody can be on good behavior for 3.
Steven asked me to marry him by month 3.
Well, that's different. Those blue eyes of yours automatically. He was like, boom. He was a goner the first time he met you. You know it, and I know it. It's that violet blue eyes of yours. Boom. He was already lost in your eyes, Dana. Come on.
Thank
You
you,
can ask
JC
him
Bear.
after the. You can ask him after the live and say, JC Bear says that you were lost in my eyes the first time we dated, and see what he says.
Well,
If
he
he
fell
gives
in
you
love with he
if he
fell in
gives
love with
you
Noah first,
well, true,
but
but that's
Noah had Noah had the same eyes, so
yep, same eyes as you. So yeah, so it was already in. Like when you know that off the top. I'm telling you, you ask him after the live, and I will laugh if he says that he didn't get lost in your eyes the first time you went out on a date.
you're making me blush, making me feel funny. Thank you, JC Bear.
So sometimes like when your energies are right with someone, and you know that it clicks. It may take you, like there's a gut feeling where this is the person for me. This is my person. It may take a little while to work out all the kinks, but you know. And I'm talking about after you've done all of the silliness of our 20s, where we're lost in somebody's looks, or we're lost in having the hot person on our arm when we arrive and everybody's giving us attention. When you get through all of that type of stuff
Yeah,
and go through that, when you meet somebody and you're like, you're my person, because
and,
the energy between you.
and you get to the point where you want the person there that you know this going to be your ride or die throughout.
Mm. And they'll also kick your butt when you need it.
Yeah, and when I finally knew with Steven, is that I felt this really great sense of peace that I had not felt. Like a deep, deep sense of peace
Mm.
that I had not felt with another person, short of Noah, like ever.
Yeah, there are some people that I know that I've seen in my friends that they're addicted to the drama of a relationship. And when there's no drama, they're like, oh, I'm bored. What do you mean you're bored? How can you be? Well, there's not this. I said, what, you want drama like that all the time? That takes its toll.
Yeah.
That takes
And,
its toll. It's nice coming home knowing that whoever you're coming home to, you're going to find peace. Even if you've had the most, give me an adjective for the craziest day of your life, you know that you're going to, come home. Yeah, you're going to be like, blah, 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 for the first half hour. And then they're like, all right, are you ready for dinner? Let's go have a nice dinner on the back porch if it's summer.
mm-hmm.
Or let's eat in front of the TV and binge your favorite episode together, unless you've watched it ahead of time in secret, Dana.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
Yeah.
You've watched an episode ahead? Bad, Dana.
But we've got weird. But we'll back. If I have, I'll rewind it and watch it with him.
Well, yeah, you got to play. You got to play the game that you didn't skip ahead on them.
Like we were binging on Manifest because I had not watched it. I don't know if anybody's watched that show.
Is it on Prime or?
It's on Netflix.
I have to look it up. Virginia Woolf has done it. I know he's done it. He's laughing at us.
Hmm.
Virginia Woolf has watched ahead and then pretended that oh no, honey, let's watch that episode.
So we'll sometimes find a show that we like together. We don't always like the same things because sometimes he'll go back to. He can watch old movies over and over again.
Yeah.
I will typically watch a movie once, and I don't want to watch it again. It's rare I'll watch it again. Like today, I found that movie Some Kind of Wonderful, and I
Oh,
think it was from the late '80s or
yeah.
something.
Night, Virginia Woolf. You have a good one.
Night Virginia Wolf, and I couldn't remember what it was about, so I turned it back on.
That's good. That's cool. It's always fun.
But yeah, calm is good. I mean, I lived most of my life in fight or flight, so
Yeah. And that can still happen over the course of a relationship. Don't get me wrong. But when it should be the exception, not the rule.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people cut things off before they're able to achieve that type of balance with someone.
Look, when I first met Steven, I didn't think he was my type. So after the first date, I wasn't sure that it was going to go anywhere. So we agreed just to see each other as friends.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
he was he knew better, but
He was persistent. He
yeah,
was in it for the long game, the end game.
yeah,
Yep. Ah, guys know guys.
yeah. Hmm.
It's very much a European thing. It's like, okay, you may not be into me now, but
Yeah,
I'm sticking around, and you're going to come around to see me in a whole new light.
150%. This
Yeah,
was exactly what he was saying.
yeah, yeah. Guys know the game too. If they really want somebody and they know, they'll persist for the long run.
So the next time he came to my house to cook out, he came with wine and gosh, what are the fish eggs called?
Caviar
He came with wine and caviar and
and the little toasted points.
yep, and food prepared to cook out on the grill, and
Clotted cream for the caviar.
yep, and he was dressed really nice and smelled really good, and yep,
Yep, that's the European flair.
and he was very connected to Noah, and like knew what to do with him, meaning just automatically. It was weird. Just
Well, maybe no one knew what was best for you. Have you ever thought of it that way?
probably, but he just had this instinct with him. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes your kids can teach you in ways you don't understand until later.
It was highly unusual, let's put it that way,
Yep. I do.
which is what made me fall in love with him. Little stinker.
Well, he probably knew that this was a good man for you.
Yeah. Noah had very good instincts.
Well, that's why he probably connected with them in a way that surprised you.
Oh, yeah.
So no one knew what was best for mom.
Because if he did not think a person was good, and it wasn't even about like, if he didn't think a person was good, he wouldn't have anything to do with them.
Hey, Monica McCall.
Hey, Micah McCall, how are you doing, precious? It seems like I was forgetting about something. Oh,
Well,
by
we've
the
been
way,
all over the place tonight, from politics to relationships to news
look,
media,
Kardashians, Brittany and
Kardashian,
Justin, doing the
Taylor
same
Swift.
song. Yeah. How are the food prices? Are they as high there? Yeah.
Oh, you mean in Canada? Oh yeah, food prices have gone up dramatically, and it always amazes me what I using the same amount of money I've been bringing home less bags of groceries dramatically.
What about clothes?
Clothes, it's a little more difficult for me to judge because I do a lot of my shopping online for certain
Oh yeah.
things. I mean, except for my footwear, I won't shop for footwear online. I have to try them out, and I always buy a little bit higher, so my shoes have been lasting a lot longer.
Gotcha.
So I haven't gone out and done like the check for runners or sneakers or dress shoes and that for in a long time. So, but I'll let you know when I do, and then I can comment on it.
It doesn't seem like clothes are as bad, but I did get 2 nice pairs of sneakers for Christmas. Because my little brother asked me, goes, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I was like, "Oh, just give me a new pair of sneakers." And I don't care about name brand. Well, he got me name brand anyway. My daughter did too. And I got a punching bag, and then I got a rebounder. You know what that is, right?
I think so. Is that where you stand on it and you can actually jog in the house?
It's a trampoline with bars,
Oh, okay. Now I
and
got you.
he got me a sweatshirt and stuff because I want to. I used to like kickbox and do all that stuff every day, and the last year I've been lax. But I need to strengthen my arms and my legs, so I'm going to get back into the groove.
Yeah, especially now. Well, up here, unless you enjoy cold weather, um, walking outside can take its toll.
Yeah,
So, finding more active movement items indoors
yeah,
without having to pay for a gym or going to a specific high-end studio to do it
yeah.
is worth its while.
And I used to go to Planet Fitness, but it just felt so weird in there. I thought it would. I'm not putting it down, but I don't know. I thought there would be louder music or something like that. It just felt weird to me. So back to the house. I've got my weights and everything here.
True, true.
But
But it's 11:15, and
yeah, I
I'm
was
going
about
to
to
go to
say,
work. So I will bid you adieu, good people. Always a pleasure, Dana. You have a good one. Bear hugs. Keep kicking ass.
love you so much. You made me so happy coming tonight.
It was just by chance I seen the notification come up, and I said, what the hell? I got to go over and see what's happening. And I had the time, so I'm like, cool. And then I said, oh, she dropped the link. That's a hint. I must take it. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful week. Mwah. Be
Have a
good.
good night. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Good night, Virginia Woolf. Thank you for coming, Monica McCall. Much love to you, Seth. And good night, everybody. Remember, your vibe attracts your tribe. Good night in the bushes. Please like, subscribe, and share.
Good. I didn't have to remind you this time.
And everybody,
Oh,
take care of yourself this week. And give yourself some self-care. Meditate. And I'm going to try to do my best to drop a hypnosis video this week for anxiety or stress relief just for you. And I might hide my face just so you can listen. I'm going to do my best to do that. But take care of yourself, and I will see you next time on the flip side. And those in the replay gang, let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. I'll see you next time. Love everybody. Mwah. Take care of yourself. I appreciate you so much. Bye bye. And here we go. Dun, dun, dun.